Yeah, YB reached out to me after that stream, and YB was just like, "Yo, Act, yo, I love you, man, but yo, you can't let these motherfuckers play with my name." Respectfully to NLE Chopper, I would just like to know: are you talking gangster shit that you want to get into it with this? Because I ain't gonna lie to you, young boys attracted to down to kill and die. I don't think NLE Chopper is talking that energy. I think he's talking about artistically.
That's what he did. That's what he did. That's what he did.
NLE Chopper, listen to me. You can't go walk the runway with that little walk. You remember that walk you had? I think I'm a bad. You can't come back for that walk.
Catrell is evil, and he's a bad influence. So you want to go and put that man on his knees.
NLE Chopper just dropped another NBA YoungBoy diss, and this one is straight up embarrassing, fam. This Memphis rapper, who used to call YoungBoy his favorite artist, is now out here throwing wild shots every few weeks like he's begging for someone to notice him. Behind all those over-the-top dance moves and random spiritual talk, there's something deeper going on. Chopper's been watching his career numbers slide while YoungBoy keeps stacking wins. And now he's acting like the only way to get attention is by coming at the king. The real story behind how this former fan turned into YoungBoy's loudest critic is full of broken deals, friendships that crashed hard, and a desperate reach for relevance that looks more sad than serious. We're about to break down some real industry chaos happening right in front of everyone, and most people still don't see what's really going on. But before we get into this mess, let me keep it real with you. Social media has been lighting up over Chopper's new track, Hello Revenge, with people asking why he refuses to leave YoungBoy alone. We're here to sort the truth from the lies and show what's really happening in this drama. October 2025, that's when everything finally clicked and exposed exactly what NLE Chopper has been trying to pull off. This Memphis rapper dropped his first YoungBoy diss out of nowhere, and everybody got confused because these two hadn't gone back and forth in years. But hold on, this isn't some heavy street situation. This is straight up desperation, dressed up like tough talk. And that's when things start getting real spicy. The numbers tell the whole truth. Chopper's been struggling heavy, and the stats are rough. Check the streaming info, fam. His recent drops are barely touching 1 million plays, while YoungBoy pulls tens of millions without breaking a sweat. Those last few singles didn't hit at all, and he realized he can't keep recycling that same shotta flow energy forever. Online attention works like a game, and Chopper figured out that saying YoungBoy's name is basically a cheat code for getting people to look his way. Every reaction page, every hip-hop blog, every social feed lights up instantly when their names get tied together. So of course, he doubled down on it. Now let's run it back to 2018 when this whole situation really started. Back then, NLE Chopper was just a young Memphis artist trying to break into the scene. And NBA YoungBoy was the one he looked up to heavy. He wasn't hiding it either. Chopper was remixing YB-style tracks, blending in parts of his flow and constantly getting compared to him everywhere. And this wasn't some light admiration. Chopper literally built parts of his early sound from YoungBoy's blueprint. The intense delivery, the raw storytelling, even the style of his stage name. NLE stood for No Love Entertainment, just like NBA stood for Never Broke Again. And you could see the connection instantly. Then, in February 2019, during an interview with Hip Hop DX, someone asked him who his favorite artists were, and Chopper straight up said NBA YoungBoy, Meek Mill, and Lil Durk. That was real proof of his admiration, not some edited history, but straight up fan behavior that went way beyond interviews. Chopper was studying YoungBoy's whole catalog, learning the flows, and even flipped Through the Storm into his own version, called Through the Rain, on an early project. He was trying to tap into that same powerful energy that made YoungBoy's music feel so magnetic. Memphis and Baton Rouge had totally different scenes, but Chopper saw how YoungBoy's raw honesty connected with listeners everywhere, and he wanted that same impact, that same ability to turn real struggles into tracks that went worldwide. But this is where things started to get wild. March 2019, the first signs of tension popped up when some people around Chopper went on Instagram Live talking reckless about YoungBoy, calling him fake and questioning his background. Chopper tried to cool them down because thousands of viewers were watching, but the moment was already out there. One of his boys even called YoungBoy lame and claimed he wasn't on that type of timing, which came off extra disrespectful, especially from folks connected to someone who openly said he was a fan. Youngboy heard about the disrespect and jumped on his own live to speak on it. He said, "Ain't no killer," and made it clear he wasn't letting that kind of talk slide. And here's the wild twist. Chopper instantly jumped back on live trying to calm everything down, saying Youngboy was his favorite rapper and that he wanted to make music with him. This was the first real sign that Chopper was stuck between keeping up a tough image and showing genuine respect for Youngboy. He couldn't control what his crew was saying, but he also didn't want to lose the respect of the artist he admired. But the damage was already done. Because in Youngboy's world, respect is everything, and letting your circle talk reckless makes you look weak. That moment planted the first seed of distrust. And later in 2019, when Youngboy got locked up on a probation violation, Chopper dropped a full track called Free Youngboy, showing real love and support. This wasn't some industry stunt. This was honest appreciation from an upcoming rapper who saw YB as one of his biggest inspirations. He even used the vibe of Youngboy's Free Dog beat, proving just how deep that influence ran. But here's where the whole story takes a turn beyond simple admiration. Once Chopper started getting some shine, he began moving differently. On June 19, 2019, things flipped when he got into that situation with Quando Rondo in Houston, and that moment changed everything going forward. According to Quando's side of the story, he was at a venue cooling out when some people from Chopper's camp approached him with issues. The tension hit instantly. This wasn't some random misunderstanding. Chopper's circle came in ready for pressure, and when Chopper pulled up with his group, everything escalated fast. Quando tossed a Hennessy bottle at one of Chopper's people, cracked his face wide open, and left blood all over the spot. Security rushed in and broke it up, but the damage was already locked in, both to the dude's face and to any chance of peace between the camps. Quando jumped on live right after, showing zero remorse and even bragging about what happened. He said Chopper's boy needed stitches running from his forehead down to his nose, and he even threw out a wild offer, $40,000 for Chopper to post a picture of his injured homie. But here's the embarrassing twist. After all that loud talk and street flexing, Chopper was in Quando's DMs trying to make things smooth. Quando exposed the messages showing Chopper writing, "I don't know if you with me, but I just want to tell you, keep turning up and stay safe out there." That move had people talking because everyone knows you can't play friendly with someone's enemies and still expect loyalty to stay solid. Chopper's situation got even messier because he tried playing both sides while attaching himself to people who didn't rock with Youngboy at all. The real shocker came when Chopper started getting close with King Von and Lil Durk's circle. This wasn't some regular networking. Chopper and Von were hanging out often, playing video games, building a real bond, and they were both on house arrest at the time. When Von tragically passed in November 2020 after that situation with Quando Rondo's crew, Chopper posted emotional messages calling Von his brother. The hurt was real, but the loyalty had serious consequences. Then comes January 2022, and that's when everything blew up. Youngboy was rolling out his Colors mixtape and dropped Bring the Hook, where he dissed King Von. And that's when all the connections, alliances, and hidden tension finally exploded. The bars were brutal. YB was speaking on someone who passed, and that crossed a serious line in hip-hop culture. Academics even tweeted that Youngboy was on Demon Time, and Lil Reese replied saying that wasn't Demon Time at all, just regular rap. And here's where Chopper made the move that changed everything. He jumped in and responded to Reese saying, "I stamped that," officially picking a side in a war he was never part of to begin with. That wasn't some small cosign. In that moment, stamping Reese's comment meant he was agreeing that Youngboy crossed the line with the Von diss, which automatically put him on Chicago's side and directly against Baton Rouge. That one tweet shifted the whole energy instantly. 2 days later, Youngboy released Know Like I Know and Fam. That track hit different. This wasn't a regular diss. This sounded like a straight-up threat wrapped in a beat. YB went all the way in, talking about how Chopper's mom would be heartbroken if he decided to deal with him for switching sides. Let me break down some of those lines because they were seriously chilling. Youngboy said, "Your mama gonna be crying when she see you in that coffin." And that wasn't rap bravado. That sounded like a warning. He even brought up how Chopper used to say YB was his favorite artist, basically telling him to fall back before things got ugly. Then YB took aim at everything. He mentioned Chopper's healthy lifestyle phase, calling it fake, and even brought up his past relationship with Youngboy's ex, Young Blazion. YB wasn't just rapping. He was tearing at him from every angle. Personal, career-wise, and straight psychological. The most chilling moment came when YB sang in that eerie, haunting tone, "I want your soul," while reminding Chopper he could lose his life for choosing sides. That wasn't just music. That was psychological warfare dressed up like a track. And it hit hard because Chopper went completely silent after it dropped. But the threats didn't end there. Youngboy started mentioning Chopper's cars, his Instagram posts, even his own mother, who helps manage his career. YB was basically letting him know he was watching everything he did, and nothing was off limits. Then came that interlude, where YB said he was surprised Chopper's parents weren't telling him to get out the beef. And when someone brings up your family's peace of mind, you know the situation is serious. For anyone who doesn't fully get how the industry works, let me break it down quickly. When a major artist like Youngboy comes at you with that level of heat, you only get 3 real choices. Respond instantly, take the loss quietly, or just disappear from the conversation. Chopper chose that third option for 2 whole years, and that silence said more than any diss track could. If Chopper was really living the image he used to push, he would have fired back right away. But instead, he backed off completely, shifted his energy, and started focusing on his spiritual journey. He began promoting healthy eating, meditation, and positivity, basically the total opposite of the tough persona he once claimed. And during that whole period, you could clearly see the diss affected him. He flipped his entire public image, started talking about healing, avoiding drama, and stepping away from negativity. While that was probably helpful for his mental well-being, it also showed that Youngboy's words cut deep. The switch-up was dramatic. The same guy who was talking tough and aligning himself with heavy street politics suddenly turned into a full wellness advocate. Chopper started promoting herbs, meditation, and a whole new peaceful lifestyle. Fans saw the switch-up. Some respected the growth, but others started questioning if he was still being real. Meanwhile, Youngboy kept leveling up nonstop. His career kept climbing. His fan base kept expanding, and he never said Chopper's name again. That silence from YB ended up hurting more than any follow-up diss ever could. But here's the cold, calculated part of this whole situation. Suddenly in 2024, Chopper decided he remembered he had issues with Youngboy again. So what changed? Let's break it down. Youngboy had just wrapped his massive tour, reportedly clearing around $75 million and selling out arenas everywhere. His name stayed trending. His videos were racking up millions, and he was easily one of the most talked about rappers in the game. Meanwhile, Chopper was out here fighting for relevance. His recent drops were getting lukewarm reactions, his streams were slipping, and he still couldn't recreate the magic of Shotta Flow, no matter how many remixes or sequels he tried dropping. The numbers told the whole story, loud and clear. His latest releases were barely scraping past 1 million views, while Youngboy was pulling 10 to 20 million without even trying. Chopper's monthly listeners on Spotify were sliding down, while YB stayed locked in with tens of millions. At this point, it wasn't about hurt pride or street rep. It was about numbers, momentum, and staying alive in the industry. Then Chopper dropped Go in October 2024, and suddenly he had more attention than he'd gotten in months. The YouTube comments were blowing up, reactors were posting non-stop, social media was buzzing. And all of it was because he mentioned Youngboy's name again. The proof is sitting right there in the stats. Go probably pulled more views in his first week than his last 3 normal releases combined. The algorithm eats controversy up, and Chopper figured out fast that taking shots at the most talked about rapper in the game was his shortcut back to relevance. Look at Hello Revenge, all the dancing, the spiritual quotes, the dramatic visuals. None of that can hide the fact that this is manufactured drama with extra production money behind it. He's trying so hard to make it look artistic and deep, but it comes off like pure desperation wrapped in a music video. The video even opens with Genesis 1:1, acting like this is some battle between light and darkness. He's quoting scripture while doing choreographed dance moves, creating this strange mix that doesn't match the message at all. Then he drops bars like, "They say why be better? Who? I'm the proof that ain't no statement," and put Top in the lake, throwing direct shots at Youngboy. But the delivery feels so theatrical it's tough to take seriously. He even went as far as putting up billboards in Baton Rouge trying to spark a reaction. But Youngboy already said he's not giving energy to people who don't matter. In his Zero IQ freestyle, YB literally said, "Respond to him?" I said no. That's about as dismissive as it gets. And when you look at the pattern, the desperation becomes clear. First, he dropped Coke, then almost immediately followed up with Hello Revenge just a few weeks later. That ain't organic tension. That's content creation dressed up as beef. This whole situation shows a bigger issue happening in hip-hop right now. We've moved away from real conflicts based on real problems. Now it's all staged controversy designed to feed the algorithm. Artists are learning that negative attention still counts as attention, and attention turns into money. And look at how the industry reacted to all this. Young Boy's camp, even his own mother, basically treated Chopper like he's not important enough to acknowledge. Even his mom weighed in, saying she'd be upset if this was coming from someone who actually mattered, not someone most people don't even listen to. Reaction channels are treating all this like entertainment, not real beef. The comment sections are full of people clowning Chopper instead of taking him seriously. And even some of his own fans are starting to question the strategy. Here's the kicker. This whole approach might actually backfire on Chopper long term. By chasing clout so openly, he's painting himself as the desperate one and hurting his own brand. Fans respect authenticity, and this just isn't it. The numbers don't lie either. His diss tracks get temporary attention, but they aren't boosting his regular music or giving him long-term success. It's like a sugar rush. Big energy for a minute, then a hard crash. At the end of the day, Chopper's situation isn't just about wanting smoke with Young Boy. It's about a former fan realizing his idol became his only ticket back to relevance, and honestly, that's kind of sad. The shift from genuine admiration to manufactured antagonism shows how the industry can twist relationships. Chopper went from making tribute songs to desperate attempts at starting beef, and the culture sees right through it. This timeline proves one thing. Sometimes the biggest threat to an artist's career is their own desperation. Instead of leveling up his music or carving out his own lane, Chopper chose controversy, and it's making him look weak, not strong. The psychological side of this story is wild. Imagine idolizing someone only for them to threaten you on a track, then staying quiet for years, and suddenly resurfacing only when your career needs a boost. That's a heavy, emotional journey, and you can bet it affects how Chopper sees himself as an artist. The big question is, how long can you keep dissing someone who literally won't even acknowledge you exist? Chopper's moves might grab temporary attention, but it's not building a lasting career. People eventually get tired of manufactured drama. Meanwhile, Young Boy's silence speaks louder than any diss track ever could. By not responding, he's showing that Chopper isn't even worth his time. And that's probably more damaging than 100 songs combined. This whole situation also shows the difference between real street beef and industry-made controversy. Authentic beef has real consequences, emotions, and stakes. What we're seeing here, it feels like a full-blown marketing campaign gone wrong. So we want to hear from you. What do you think about Chopper repeatedly trying to get Young Boy's attention? Do you think this strategy can work long-term? Is this real beef or just a clout chase? And is there any way back for Chopper's credibility after this? Don't forget to join the Rap Uncovered family. Turn on those notifications and hit that subscribe button. The streets never sleep and we're just getting started. We drop heat every single day, and tomorrow's upload is going to be even crazier, deeper, and absolutely unmissable. Smash that like button, share the video with all your homeboys, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll catch you in the next one, right here at Rap Uncovered, where the truth of the streets lives.